So here's Mr. Tiamat all dried up, and if you notice I'm holding a cheap brush. What we're going to do is I've mixed up a little wash of pure black, and I've added a little bit of future floor polish, or whatever it's called nowadays. Just rearrange this a little bit for me. My wiper. I'm going to go pretty fast because this is just meant to dirty it up a little bit. It looks almost gray sitting on here. And it's puddling fairly badly. But we can just suck off some of that. I'm just trying to get it into the nooks and crannies here. So any of these big flat panels, I'm just dabbing it off on. Probably shouldn't suck it out of the missile ports, but I'm going to paint those later anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. It really didn't show up very well anyway. I suppose this probably would have worked better on a lighter colored mini. This one's just super dark. But we'll go ahead and do this anyway. Kind of sitting here planning in my head what I'm going to do with the next color. And I will probably try to do all the little interesting details here and there. For the most part, this base coat is all I'm going to do on it. That's not true, but it's close to being true. Now I put the future floor polish on because it's supposed to help break the surface tension so that it flows a little bit better. But I guess, gee, you know, you could go buy Flow Improver and do about the same thing. Over here. Of course, when I base it, I guess I'm going to be using whatever color is there. And I'll kind of literally muddy the feet a bit. Okay, I think I'm going to go with like a dried out riverbed almost. So maybe he was walking in the deep part and we've moved over, or he's walking out to the dried up riverbank somewhere. Yeah, see, now it's starting to do a little bit better once I got that first wash on it, because it was puddling really badly. I am just kind of slopping it on in spots and, you know, dropping it here and there. I'm just trying to make sure I got everywhere I would like to, and nowhere where I don't. That's pretty impossible with a wash because it goes everywhere. And, you know, I'm not following one of the rules I learned when I started out, which was to apply the wash in upward strokes so it gets embedded in all the little shadow places. But this is running so thinly anyway. Oh, and I'll mention that one problem I always had was, you know, how thick to make it. You know, how thin actually. Because I hit my light, and I finally stumbled across a very good method. You know, they say, oh, make it like skim milk. Which, okay, that's great. I don't drink skim milk. I won't touch the nasty stuff. So what is it? I finally found it, and I don't remember where or when. It was, oh, just make it like Kool-Aid. It's like, okay, I've drank Kool-Aid before. You know, I just thinking the water idea might be really hard to do. Because we will need him to look wet. But then I also just had a thought that, okay, that's fine. Dump some water effects on him. So maybe that's what I do. Suck up a little spot here and there, but for the most part, I'm going to leave it like this, and I will let it dry, and then we'll be back to put the next color on. The black wash has dried, and I can't really tell that it did very much, but I'm going to trust that it did its job. And so we're going to jump in with some LED blue. I believe this is a fairly new color. It's nothing that's not unavailable. And I realize we'll probably have to redo the black wash on this to cover up, and it's not really covering the way I'd like it to. It seems a little thick, and then I mess it up by touching the outside. Let me just dab that off there instead of using the brush constantly. So, let me just quickly add a drop of water here and mix it up so it's a little less thick. I'm a little surprised at that because it is a new bottle, but every bottle is different. And all I'm doing here really is just trying to brighten things up. This is really acting like it doesn't want to cover very well. So this may be one of those cases where I'm going to have to do multiple layers. order to get a really good coat of paint and a good color. But that's fine with me. I prefer it not, but that's just the way things go sometimes. Now, if I'd known this, I probably, let's just clean up this edge, a little bit of freehand just to get that side painted. Anyway, if I'd known this was not going to be as easy as I would like it, one thing I could have done was put primer on, a little brush on primer. So here we go for that. I'm going to do the cockpit in different colors, but I think I will go ahead and put some details painted on here and kind of make that not cockpit. Well, I guess really they could be 3 panels of glass instead of some hard panels, but it doesn't really matter. Paint it the way you would like. I'm wondering if I should... There's a little detail right there, but that in theory I could paint in this LED blue, but I will not. So, remember looking over here, there's a little panel area here that I would like to differentiate with some color. So we'll get that done. It's kind of a recurring theme on my CAVs that I've painted so far, is that I do like to color in the lines, basically. Let's get the other one. Of course, while I'm painting this, I'm thinking about what else I might like to get colored in. Like right there on the feet, maybe. This is going to be a little tricky. And it's not going to appear up on video at all, because that little side panel is completely buried. So that tells me I'm better off skipping any other internal stuff and just focus on the outside portions. So like there's this little panel here that normally I would paint, but that would mean I would have to paint in that one. Suppose I could do that. No, I'm not going to. That's going to be too much of a pain. Let's see here. I'll paint its toenails, for lack of a better word. One on that side. One on that side. Let's see here. Maybe get that little raised line there if we can be super gentle with it and just get it. Too much right there, but I think we can squeeze that out. So let's get that line on this side before I forget it. Okay. Let's see what else. Because I want to get quite a few details done. But I don't want to start inventing locations to paint either. Of course, I suppose, you know, freehand does tend to really pop on vehicles like this. Ah, gee. There's a little triangle shape here. I'll try getting it. I'm sure this is excellent video right here. Okay. I may paint those, some other panels, some of the other colors, but I'm not sure at this point. Let's paint these little hubs in here. Let's go ahead and get the one on the side here. I would like to get each one of these little tabs. If I can. I did not get that little bump there. I've really debated trying to get this little shape here. Yeah, let's go ahead. And the reason I didn't want to really is because I'd really like to paint the outside edge of this, but because it seems to be a continuous surface, it would mean I need to paint that outside edge that I just painted. So we do it. Thinking this paint actually might be just too thin, but no, I think we're okay. And this isn't going to show up because it's hidden. And today is shaky hand day. a good day for me to do detail work, I'm sure. But I've been putting off painting for quite a bit. I think a recommended time for letting the wash dry would be about 30 minutes if you're dry, and maybe an hour if you're in a high humidity. But it's been days. So this should be super dry and good. Oh, I forgot to do the little tabs on this side. One kind of spilled paint over. So we'll just mop that up right quick. Wow, that really wicked up really well. I was surprised. You know, this is almost a highlight color, but not really. It's not what I'm intending to try here. So, let's see here. I can paint some nozzles, but I may paint those black. Ugh. Mouth failure. So, now that that's done, let's go ahead and go over with a second coat. See how that looks. I'm just toying with it here. I'm thinking I might have to do about 5 layers on here. It's just thin paint, or light paint going over dark paint. And I messed that up, I didn't see that. And just sometimes that just doesn't work very well. So I'm going to paint little spots on the cockpit here. Get the sides too. So that's what I've got for 2 layers, and I'm not going to bore everybody with layers 3 through 5, but I'll pop back in with the little update video after I've got those layers done. We'll see how it looks like. So here we are. This is, I think I did 4 coats of paint, and then I did a really thin coat to try to get it. These 2 patches up here were just terrible to get. So that's probably 4 thick coats and 2 or 3 thin coats. And so I'm happy with it and calling it good, and we'll switch to the next color. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.